This is Rise. Let's lock in with the goal of changing one life at a time. Yours. Together, let us rise up, inspire, strengthen, and elevate our minds. It's time to rise on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, my name is Dr. Saran Heron, and welcome to Rise. Today we are going to talk about changing your thinking and breaking negative patterns despite your current situation. You will learn how to rise and reach your dreams. Laura Ballet is a global ambassador for life transformational empowerment and human awareness and a frequent media guest on various platforms. She helps people to connect with one's personal power to achieve anything simply by changing the way you think about it. Laura is an expert in the field of Neuro-Energy, a self-aware environment that allows us to move into the power seat of choice, as she calls it. She has interviewed for magazines, spoken on various podcasts, speaking engagements, and have done creative collaboration. She is also the author of The Science of Empowerment. She is here today to share and help you not only how to think differently, but to actually recalibrate your brain and help you reach your dreams with intent. Learn how to make your own opportunities from breaking free from anything that holds you back. Laura Ballet, welcome to Rise here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you so much.
So, Laura, let's get into how you believe, one can change the way they think. Give us some examples of that.
So many of us don't quite understand the power behind our thought process. And when we start to move into understanding that all thought is creative, we now can exercise our own autonomy and start thinking for ourselves and therefore creating a much different life than for many of us is imposed on us. So when we take, say, action steps and we wake up every morning and we choose to find something we're grateful for, we align with a moment of appreciation, we look for the betterment of what is happening within the human condition. This allows us to now really move into, as you say, and I say, the power seat of choice. So there are steps that we can take very small on a daily basis that begins to really rewire the mindset. And we start to appreciate the little things in life, which really help us think differently about some of the bigger challenges that happen to us on a daily basis.
Most of us feel stuck or, you don't believe that you could achieve your dreams. Why do you think most people may feel that way?
Yeah, so much of this is based on a limited mindset. It's not any one of our faults per se. We really become these walking algorithms of someone else's thinking. So if we look at grandparents, parents, and then children, and just look at that lineage, so much is passed down just on the day-to-day play out, again, within the human condition. And much of it is a limiting mindset. It is, no, you can't do that. That's not for us. You don't have what it takes. Only those people over there reach that level of success. So we tend to really have it seated in our actual very essence that we are limited at the beginning of our life, and we carry that story all the way through. And so I am really all about empowering people. We are unlimited human beings, and there really are levels of higher potential that we all can certainly align ourselves with and begin to change those limiting thought processes into something much more positive.
I have to totally agree with you with that. Now, you know that life itself can be challenging at times, such as feeling stuck in an unhappy job, a relationship, or an unpleasant situation. And maybe the circumstances just, are not right for even finding a right partner, a perfect career, or a perfect life. So for our listeners, what would you want to tell them about that as it pertains to those things?
Yeah, again, it's how we are perceiving the story around the thought process. I'm not good enough. they're better than I am. I could never have that style of job, that type of person, and I don't have anything in common. This all goes back to this limiting mindset to begin with. And when we understand that energy is in everything, it's in our thought process, it's in the stories, the behavior, the patterns, and the habits of how we conduct our daily life. This is what stops us from believing not only in our potential, but certainly aligning ourselves with a higher level of positive energy that would help begin to create a new foundation to understanding that we absolutely have what it takes to have a better life than what we have at the present condition, or if not better, certainly we can enrich it. We can develop it to have much more potential than what we actually settle for.
Now, I'm interested to know, how did you begin to have this mindset? Like, did someone encourage you, or was this something that you taught yourself?
Yeah, that's a bit of, I think, a loaded question because there's a few answers to it. But my brother and I talk about this often. My brother, I always give a heartfelt shout out to him. He was the creator of the J3 equals E formula, which just absolutely inspired me to create the science of empowerment and everything that came from that. And that actually was seeded when we were children. We certainly were not without trials and tribulation and hardships and challenges, but there was something in the messaging from our parents that we were told we could create our world how we see it and how we would like to show up in it. We were fiercely independent at very young ages. And so this awareness to consciousness and mind-body elevation was something that was just almost innate. And both my brother and I still remember being very young and tapping into it. And yes, as you travel through your life and as you move through your own experiences, there's tools and skills and modalities that I really aligned myself with personally to elevate my own level of intelligence, and sought out mentors and coaches to really expand on my present mindset. And so it's a little bit of, I think, how I came into this world and certainly how I choose to live in this world.
Agreed. Now, in terms of self-awareness, a lot of people may not be familiar with that terminology. It's used more often than I would say now in our present day. What does that look like? If someone would ask you, what is being self-aware? How can it, give one power over one's life?
Yeah, I think when we exercise what awareness to ourselves feels like, awareness to our environment, and our awareness to what it is to tap into human potential, this begins to start this exploration into who we can become, not who someone told us to be. So awareness can just start as a dialogue with self. And again, very simple steps just to begin a relationship that goes past what society or parents or church or politics is feeding us. This is really a very personal relationship with self. And this tends to almost shed light into the shadows and brings awareness to our autonomy, how we think about thought, how we choose to move through the human condition, and how we actually have cause and effect with our awareness or our lack of awareness.
Now, part of what you do, you help to educate others about recalibrating their minds. How critical is that step? I know you touch on some pointers, but how critical do you think it's for a person who wants to do this, wants to make this change, want to have a different mindset? What steps do they have to begin to make?
Yeah, understanding again that the power, and I'm going to say this as I believe it to be, the power of the universe is within each human being. I have written about this in the science of empowerment. I firmly believe that there is no junk DNA. It is untapped potential in every single human being. Recognize that you have the power to move through and create your life as you see fit. There is no limitation. And I know that we can all have an argument for some, again, hardships, and look at the environment I live in, or I'm undereducated, or I don't have the money, or I'm a single parent. So for sake of this particular conversation, we're looking at it more from a coaching, positive perspective than, say, a therapeutic conversation. So it's not to dishonor anyone or any of us that have been in those situations. But when we begin to use the power of our mind and we understand the skill of recalibration, that is taking a negative thought and moving it through to a more positive outcome, this really begins to empower your life, and you start to actually tune in to your potential, which now starts to help you feel that there are options and opportunities past this state that you are in the present moment.
You are listening to Rise on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Saran Heron, and today we're talking to Laura Ballet, who's a global ambassador for life transformational empowerment and human awareness, frequent media guest on various platforms. She helped connect people with their own personal power to achieve anything simply by changing the way you think about it. Laura is a sought-after expert in the field of Neuro-Energy, a self-awareness environment that allows us to move into the power seat of choice, as she calls it. She has interviewed on many magazine articles, podcasts, speaking engagements, and have done creative collaboration. She is also the author of The Science of Empowerment. Now, Laura, as we've been talking about different examples and you've been sharing your expertise with us, you talk about the importance of breaking free, as you call it, and creating your own opportunities. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, again, this is when we have this limited mindset and we think that whatever the present condition is giving us, however it's showing up, we can do two things, right? One, we can focus on the negative aspect of this. Two, we can begin to think differently about our own autonomy. And I say this all the time, and I repeat this. We are self-actualized thinking human beings. We are not a product of the behavior, the pattern, or the habit. We absolutely have the ability to not only recalibrate and shift, but dissolve this negative story and these outdated, very antiquated ways of being in the world, and really breaking free and creating a new story, a new narrative, and really expanding with our mind how we can change the present environment and really live a life that is much more fulfilling, healthier, and happier.
Wonderful. Now, you're an expert in the neuro field. For someone listening who's not familiar with that term, do you want to just speak about that a little bit?
So this is something that I've been talking about for a long time. So neuro-energy, but we all understand neuroscience focuses on brain and its impact on behavior. And there's so much happening out in the world with new and existing sciences. Epigenetics is on the cutting edge of understanding how thought can actually have direct causation on the cellular mapping system within the body. But if we keep it just very simple, nervous system. We all know what it's like to feel that gut instinct or that tingling of excitement, the butterflies, flying free when we're happy. We all pretty much know what happy, sad, negative, positive, and light and dark and love and hate feel like. There's an energetic construct around those thoughts and feelings. So neuroenergy is really coaching and guiding my clients, and when I speak around the globe, on tapping into the understanding of negative, positive, and neutral energies and how they are all in place. And what you choose to align yourself with is what you will experience. And that's what you'll feel, the sensations in your body. Again, that gut instinct. So really tapping into neuro-energy, understanding energy is in everything. We now can choose to be an energy being that tunes into a more positive thought process and then a more happier lifestyle.
Amazing. Now, earlier you talked about the J3 equal E formula, which
Yeah.
activates your abilities and your potential to dissolve past challenges.
Mhm.
Now, how does one apply that rule? Someone who's never heard about it, can you, in simple terms, and I know we don't have much time, but dive into it a little bit, and for someone who's listening, who's interested in what is that formula?
Yeah, so real simple to give the listeners something that they can take away from this conversation. The J3 equals E is an empowering formula. It consists of 5 principles and 3 fields of energy. The principles are awareness, willingness, accountability, critical thinking, and energy. And again, the 3 fields of energy: negative, positive, neutral. If you apply those 5 principles in the form of a question to yourself in every given situation, and you choose that power seat of neutrality, this will help you start to recalibrate present challenges. And we can't go into a detail right now, but 5 principles, 3 fields of energy. So even if it's an awareness to, I can choose to move from negative thinking to a more neutral state of thought, this begins to actually rewire the mindset, create neuroplasticity, new neuronal pathways, new ways of thinking, empowers the individual. And now we can go from neutral to positive once we become a bit more skilled in that movement from negative to positive energy.
Now, as a global ambassador, Laura, for life transformational empowerment and human awareness leader, you pretty much are gathering wisdom that one could apply to their personal life to help them advance themselves and their own potential. Talk to me a little bit. How rewarding is that for you?
It's a humbling and very honorable place to be in life. I do work very, very diligently on showing up in the world as a transformational example. I myself have gone through a lot in my life, and I did not just write the book. I actually live what I write, and I write how I live. There's a very authentic exploration of gained wisdom and insight and inspiration and motivation here. And using this book and this philosophy and this science of an empowered life really truly is just a sheer joy. And the people that I have guided to their own awareness of their own brilliance and potential and beauty, I cannot tell you what it feels like when you're on the other side and someone truly wakes up onto that knowing that they do not have to stay in a state of stagnation any longer, that they really can tap into potential and advance their entire life.
Now, in terms of creative collaboration, I know you've done some. Can you share with us a few collaborations that you have done that, were like the most meaningful to you that you could share with to us today?
Yeah, so one comes to mind. I helped co-author a book by Dr. Dawn Erhout White, and it's called Believe. And there was many of us that were chosen around the globe, from a 16-year-old girl to a gentleman, living in a very poor condition in Africa, and everyone in between. And we all just came together to write this very beautiful book. And that was a lovely collaboration. And the proceeds went to orphanages in Africa. I now am working with a friend of mine, and we're creating this amazing book and program around how to empower oneself through grief. And this has just become an amazing, quite adventure on how to really help guide all of that comes with those challenges through grief. And I think you were going to ask me, but one of my dear friends who lives in South Africa, we have a global podcast that we've started. And this is really to gift knowledge and insight and new perspectives and awarenesses around how our global community can come together, pay it forward, and really create an empowered life for all of us.
I know, Laura, you talk about like a 360 view of how to create and sustain happiness and well-being. How important is that to one's mindset?
Yeah, when we look at everything as a whole, it changes our perspective. If we think about just our mind or just our body or just our job or just our title, our family, or just our finances, we really end up living this very fractured existence. When we choose to look at it from that viewpoint of 360, this complete whole being where every aspect matters. So how I think affects my biology, how my biology is working affects my health, how my health is affecting my ability for mobility and flexibility and exercise. All of it is connected when we begin to look at ourselves as whole, complete beings that have everything we need already intact in this beautiful mind-brain matrix with these amazing hearts and spirits and souls and all the potential that the human condition has gathered. We absolutely can take this 360 view and propel it into an amazing, empowered life.
You are listening to Rise on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Saran Heron, and today we're talking to Laura Ballet, a global ambassador for life transformational empowerment and human awareness. She's a frequent media guest on various platforms who help people connect with their own personal power to achieve anything simply by changing the way you think about it. Laura is a sought-out expert in the field of Neuro-Energy, a self-awareness environment that allows you to move into the power seat of choice, as she calls it. She has interviewed for magazine articles, podcasts, speaking engagements, and done creative collaborations. She is also the author of The Science of Empowerment. Now, Laura, as we've been talking, I know many people are listening, and what is like some advice that you want to provide to our listeners today who are feeling, I can't do this? Speak to them for us.
I would challenge the listeners to recalibrate that thought in real time. As soon as they're hearing this, remove the words, I can't, too hard, too difficult, I don't have what it takes, I'm not good enough. Remove them and recalibrate them into a more neutral to positive thought process. I can't becomes I will try. I'm not good enough becomes I will learn, I will read, I will listen, I will educate until I have the skill set to be not only good enough, just better than I was today. Recalibrate the thought. It is in, it's in you. I'm going to say it and take this with you, please. You are in the power seat of choice. How you choose to look at yourself is under your directive. No one can take that away from you. See your beauty, see your brilliance, see your genius, tap into it, tune into it, and create a life that you know you deserve.
Wonderful. I know you're passionate about your work. Now, what really keeps you motivated?
Tapping into human potential. It really does. It's never ending. Every time we arrive at some new aspect of knowledge, there's a whole team or some mad little genius somewhere that comes out with something amazing. Whether it's the universe doesn't end where we thought it ended when I was a kid, whether it's understanding now that epigenetics exist and cells can message between the brain and the heart, all of the glorious, beautiful aspects of this intelligence that is awaiting its own awakening. So I just get very, very excited, very empowered about tapping into not only my own potential, but being there in support for other people that want to tap into theirs, but maybe just don't know quite how to do it.
You're the author of The Science of Empowerment. I love the title. How did you come up with that name? And, I know we can't talk fully about the book, but tell us the major highlight about your book that you've written.
Yeah. What's really unique about The Science of Empowerment was a beautiful collaboration between my brother Christopher and I, the title and all of it. Again, he came up with the formula. I created the book, and he's really into neuroscience and I'm really into empowerment. And so the title was just beautiful. It was The Science of Empowerment. And the book really is about you reawakening, remembering that you hold the key to your empowered life. It is a beautiful exploration into this always changing awareness throughout the book that I can do this. There is something about me that is unique and that is special, regardless of my present condition. I am here for a purpose and for a reason. And I will apply this information from this book, and I will begin to be an empowered human being.
Now, as we're wrapping up the show, Laura, and you've given some great advice and just shared a lot of your expertise, and I'm really enjoying this whole conversation. But what's one advice you want to leave with our listeners who are listening to the program?
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. You are in the power seat of choice, and do not let anyone tell you any differently. You are an empowered being. Take that with you and learn how to walk into its fullness. You are you're just an amazing human being. And please do not let anyone tell you differently. Read the book, study, listen to podcasts, go wherever you have to, soak up as much knowledge and information and insight and wisdom, and figure out how it fits for your life. And just don't sell yourself short. Break open those doors of limited thinking and really become an unlimited, high-level potential human being.
How could someone listening connect with you?
Sure, they can go to www.thescienceofempowerment.com. There's an area where you can email me. Everybody orders the book, of course, off the website for your listening audience, for those who let me know that this is where they heard this conversation and they ordered the book on my website. I will hand sign, personally mail a limited copy. Otherwise, of course, Laura Ballet, The Science of Empowerment, is on Amazon, Kindle, Barnes and Nobles, etc.
Now, thank you for being here, Laura Ballet. It was a pleasure. And I just want to quickly welcome evangelist Camille James. I know she's listened to today's program. Can you offer some advice based on today's topic?
Thank you, Dr. Heron. It is a pleasure to be here today. As human beings, we all have a natural and a spiritual side to us. Many people focus only on the natural. Our thoughts can either build us or tear us down. Having a positive outlook on life can get us to our destinations quicker than we think. The choice is ours. We can face each day believing and knowing that we can and will succeed. We can command our day from the moment we awake, speaking whatsoever is true, pure, lovely, admirable, and excellent will set our day on the right path. Just as how we take care and pamper our physical, we should also do the same to our spiritual. I encourage each and every one to put the same effort in our attitudes and thoughts that we put on our outer frame. Our Creator desires us to live life to the fullest and to be the greatest we can ever be. Blessings always.
I appreciate you both taking the time to speak with us. Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Saran Heron, and you have the power to change your thinking. Believe in yourself, change and accomplish your dreams, and rise above every obstacle. Break away and change your life. Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Rise, available wherever you listen to podcasts, and always right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.